right, I am going to attempt a different setup here with my camera, and it's awkward as heck on my end, but it looks great on the screen. So I have a feeling that doing Stitch with Me is going to be a slight war between what's good for me and what's good for the video. So let's just do a little bit of stitching and see what it looks like. So the project I'm working on in this video is my long dog sampler Hoity Toity. And I purchased this, well, I should say I received it as a Christmas present, I think in 2019, perhaps, Christmas of 2019, or even 2018. I think it was 2019 though, to be honest with you. So anywho, or oh God, no. Nope, I'm not gonna say anywho. Anyway, I received it and of course immediately started on it and was going like gangbusters and had it as part of my rotation for a while, and then it got neatly folded up into a project bag, and there it sat for a very long time. And I always thought about it. I knew it was in my bag, in my drawer, and even though I was working on other things, I kept thinking about it. And then I brought it out again because I just wanted to confirm which bag it was in. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I really want to get back to this. So she has come back out of hiding and she's happy to be here. So for this pattern, I decided to collect the called for Gentle Art sampler threads, and then I also did a couple of colors in DMC, and I did that to make it a little bit more economical, and then I decided to buy the more vibrant colors of the Gentle Art sampler threads. Hold on a sec. Nope, it's right here. And then you stitch. Okay. I decided that some of the more neutral colors I was going to do with just DMC. And of course, it would look lovely done in all of the Gentle Arts threads, but I decided to economize slightly. And thank goodness I did, because I've already had to repurchase my GAST threads, which is GAST, Gentle Art Sampler Threads, so I'll just call it GAST from now on. But anyway, I've already had to repurchase my GAST threads like 3 times, and I probably still need more before I finish it. So the pattern itself doesn't tell you how many skeins you're going to need, which is a shame, because at least that would have given me a heads up right from the beginning that I was going to need 5 or 6 of certain colors or whatever. So it doesn't matter, but as I'm stitching, I'm making this discovery. So one of the other issues I ran into was while I was trying to kit this up, I said it was a present, but of course you know that I'm the one who curated all of the parts and pieces. But anyway, while I was waiting desperately for the called for black color in GAST, I'll have to put that name on the screen because I don't remember, but it was never in stock. And I always shop at 123 Stitch. That's just my preferred place. I love their products. I love the company. They're right here in the States. So, you know, I was waiting for them to get the black back in stock. And I was waiting and waiting. And I actually did look at a couple different other online shops, and none of them had it in stock either. And I just was like, well, how am I ever going to get this kitted up? And since there's so much black in it, it would be very difficult to just stitch around the black with all the other colors. So what ended up happening is I decided that I would do the black in DMC. Well, black DMC is, of course, just pitch black, no variation, no anything. And I knew it might come across as too intense when it's paired with these more neutral colors and also the gassed threads. So what I am stitching with right now is one strand of DMC black, which is 310, and then one strand of DMC 3799, which is a really pretty dark charcoal. And the two of them together are a very pretty little combination. And you can see, because that's what I'm using right now, that it softens and tempers the black a little bit and grays it down just slightly so that it has a more, just a subtle, almost a hand-dyed look. But I'm super excited by how that looks. And obviously, being a DMC, I have a craft store. I have multiple craft stores here in my town. Well, not in my town, but very close by. And it's quite easy for me to run to the store and grab more 310 and more 3799 whenever I need it. So for me, that was the solution. And then also, I'm glad I didn't use a hand-dyed black because it would cost a fortune. I mean, this pattern is, I don't know, maybe it's not 50% black thread, but it's darn close. So it would cost a lot of money, I mean, in my estimation, to afford to stitch the whole thing in the gassed flosses. So I think they're gorgeous, and I would absolutely stitch a smaller project with the gassed threads. But something this large is just not going to work. So the section that I'm stitching on right now is the year, and the other end, I mean, like, here's this one, here's my last name initial, and then to the left is my first name initial, and then on the very left edge is the 20 for 2000. And then you put your, whatever year you want here. So you could do 2020, 2021, but I am actually going to do 2022. And maybe that's ambitious because it's already mid-September. And I'm just now pretty much reached the halfway point. So it's pretty clear that this actually won't be finished in 2022, but that's the year that I'm stitching into this project. And I don't feel bad about it because I just don't. Not most, but I mean, whatever. I think, I like the balance of 22, having two twos. 23 would be fine too, but I don't want to do that. So it's going to be 2022. And I'm okay with that. So I've already written on my chart the numbers 22 so that as I'm stitching, I'll know where to leave the openings, if that makes sense. Because you can see that's what I've been doing while I've been talking, is stitching all the black that's going to go around the two. So I have to make sure I'm paying attention. And of course there's little tiny flowers like right up here, and there's little doodads over here, and then here, and so there's other spots. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the camera. Anyway, there's other spots that I need to leave open. So as you might imagine, it's all about careful counting. So, yeah. But I think this is, not as bad. I mean, my back is going to be killing me when I'm done because of the strange position I'm sitting in. But we won't think about that until I can't walk tomorrow. Oh, God. For all you young folks out there, it's no fun getting old. It's just every day is kind of a little discovery of new aches and pains. So that stinks. But it is what it is. And of course, I shouldn't complain too hard at all. Because things could always be worse. And I'm glad they're not. So, just on a personal note, my husband and I have one daughter, and we love her, of course, with all our hearts and souls. And she's really a great kid. And she recently graduated from high school and has now joined the working world. And she's decided that she's going to take a little time off of school and not just roll right into community college. She's going to, take 6 months or however long she's going to take off and then just work and really build up her savings, which is commendable and, good for her. And she's a really good worker. She started off working at a little mom and pop shop in our little downtown. And that was fun, and she enjoyed it. But it was, hard work, and she was working in the kitchen during the hottest part of summer, and they don't have air conditioning running. They just have fans. And she was, standing at the deep fryer, all the time making food and just, it was a lot of hard physical work. And then when you clean the fryers, that was actually another thing that was really, really heavy and very awkward. And she usually had to ask for assistance. So, physically, it was a little bit of a tough job for her. And then, it was hot and uncomfortable. And I mean, work is work. There's a reason. I always say there's a reason it's a 4-letter word. So, every job is going to have, its pros and cons. But, she kept plugging away and she was doing her best and bringing home the paychecks and, but then a friend of hers works at the casino that's very close by. And so she got a job there and then was encouraging Paige, our daughter, to apply for a job. So the long and short of it is that Paige applied. She had an interview. She got the job. She gave her 2 weeks, which turned more into 3 or 4 weeks at the little mom and pop shop. And she helped train her replacement person, and then she was gone. So, obviously, it was important for her to leave on good terms, and she did. So we're very proud of her. She's only 18, but she has shown herself to have a strong work ethic and a strong sense of responsibility. So we are very proud of our little darling. And yeah. And it's so funny because, she'll say goodbye and she grabs the keys and she's out the door driving away to her job. And it's just so cute. I mean, I'm a proud mama, and I certainly remember when she was, just a little tiny girl. And she has changed so much. but all for the better, you know. I'm so sorry that I keep hitting this camera. Again, this is a slightly awkward setup, and I'll probably make some adjustments. I know that it looks good, like your guys, your viewpoint. You can see everything clearly, and it's nice and close up, and all of that good stuff. So I love that aspect, but like I said, I'm sitting in a very awkward position, and I'm not going to be able to maintain this for a real long time, but that's okay. So I hope you don't mind the tiny adjustments and the fits and starts that are going to be occurring. But anyway, going back to the child, luckily for most of her life so far, I love her transitions, you know. It's very exciting for me to watch her grow and change and reach all kinds of milestones. And yes, I remember certainly when she was so much smaller. And of course, there are many times that I miss those days. But the bottom line is that I'm always proud of her. And I always, you know, whatever transition she's making is always an exciting time for me. So I don't get really weepy and, you know, oh, the past is over and she'll never do this again and she'll never, you know. And I mean, it's not like that isn't true, but I just don't dwell on that. I'm too busy celebrating and being excited for the new stage that she's entering. So I'm awfully glad I feel that way, because I may have mentioned before that I am an extremely emotional person, and I do cry all the time over any number of things. So you would think that I would be the perfect, you know, break down and have a massive depression kind of a mom, but I am not. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still cry, but usually it's just tears of love and pride and all of that stuff. So now that she's, you know, a young working person, it's very exciting. So what else can I say? She's also discovering the quote unquote joys of customer service. So I, of course, and I mean, my goodness, most young people, their first job is somehow, you know, related to customer service. You know, they work at a grocery store, they work at, you know, a restaurant, or they work wherever, and obviously they're dealing with the public, and, you know, they quickly start to discover that there are a lot of, you know, rude people out there. And what can you possibly say except that, yes, you're right, there are rude people. Sorry, I needed a quick sip of water. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, when you're out there dealing with just random people, you're going to run across that. Hold on a sec. I'm going to check my chart and I'll be back. All right. So, yeah, I was saying, oh, what am I doing? Hold on. I got myself all confused. Anyway, but yeah, she's discovering that customer service is challenging and there are rude people out there. But then again, there are also plenty of kind people, and some of them are downright sweet and friendly. So she was telling me about a difficult person, but then she also mentioned that on the same shift, she ran into an extremely sweet lady who was very kind and patient and really made up for made up for the rude person and then some. So, that's just the way it goes. It's an unfortunate fact of life. And I don't know why, but I mean, psychologically or whatever, I don't fully understand. But it almost seems to me like some people, they like to harass workers, like, how do I say this? It's like, they go out in public to a restaurant and they want to be served. And in their minds, I guess, being served means that any whim that they happen to have needs to be answered to immediately by this unsuspecting staff of employees. It's just weird. It's like they're having a little power trip or something, and it's like, oh, you have to make me happy. You have to do everything I say. You must please me at all points of service. And it's just like, my gosh, calm down. I mean, when I go out to a restaurant, I'm just like, yay, I'm going out and I get to eat a meal that I didn't have to cook. And, and ooh, what am I going to order? And let's get something fancy and, whatever. I mean, I'm just enjoying myself. And obviously I don't want my waiter or waitress to be, bad. I don't want them to be rude or, whatever. But I also don't expect them to fix all of my personal problems. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, just, take my order and please smile at me. I always like that. And, other than that, I'm just happy to be here. So, yeah, I just don't understand the people who behave badly. I gotta check my chart again before I go completely rogue. 2, 2, and 1. Okay. Is that right? Skip 2. 2, 2, and 1. Sorry. Obviously, stitching and counting and talking is just a few too many things for Mama to handle. But anyway, yeah. So I don't behave like that. I don't think other people should behave like that. But what are you gonna do? So other than that, I think she enjoys the job. Obviously, it's very busy, working inside a casino, inside a restaurant. You got to imagine, there's a lot of people coming in and out all day long. But they close pretty early, all things considered. So I am very happy about that because, my first job was at a movie theater, and, there were times I'd come home at 1:00 in the morning. That was not uncommon if I had to stay until the final movie let out or whatever. It was very late. So that wasn't ideal. Because even though it was many years ago, it's not like there weren't dangers out there, and it was in a much bigger city than where I live now. But I mean, we all, watched out for each other and everything. So usually when I was getting off of work, I was leaving with a group of employees or being walked to my car by a male coworker, So they were very polite and helpful in that regard. So it was fine. But, and then the nice thing about the casino is that the employee parking is, sorry, I heard a strange sound. Anyway, the employee parking is in a secure area that is monitored and policed by security and all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, that is really nice and definitely makes me feel more comfortable. But yeah, so that is pretty much the story of that. And I mean, she's enjoying it, and like I was saying before, I probably lost track of it, but it is hard work. You know, she's on her feet her entire shift, running back and forth and all over the place. So it's good exercise. Wait a minute, I think I did that wrong. It's good exercise, so that's nice. But yeah, it's demanding. I'm going to pull that out because I think I went in the wrong hole. Looked a little stretched. But yeah, so she's definitely tired when she comes home. And as far as meals, the staff gets like half off of the menu prices. So, you know, when they're on their breaks or whatever, they can order any meal that they want, but they have to pay half of it. So, you know, it's not like she's eating lobster tails and king crab legs on her break, because those are some of the most expensive items on the menu. But she's, you know, she likes their Caesar salad quite a bit. So she's had that a few times, and they have, you know, all kinds of different things. One of her coworkers said that there's this really delicious halibut sandwich, but he always orders it with salmon instead. And he said it's just the best thing in the world. And she loves salmon. She loves salmon spread and smoked salmon. And I will serve salmon for dinner as often as I can. So she's a big fan. And I think she's going to try that sandwich pretty soon. But it sounds good to me. All right, so I think for right now, I'm going to go ahead and call this a video, just because, like I said, it's a little uncomfortable for my back, and I'm reaching my toleration level, my intolerance level, or whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to go give myself a break, and I hope that you enjoyed today's session. I know we didn't get a tremendous amount accomplished, but we did get some. And yeah, I know that this camera angle and all that good stuff works really well, and I will attempt to figure out a way to keep it this close and this clear, but also make it comfortable for me to sit for an extended period of time. So we'll have to tweak it here and there, but as long as you are watching and enjoying yourself, that's really my goal. So you guys take care of yourselves, have fun stitching wherever you are, and I'll see you all again soon with another video. Bye-bye.